Hello, my name is Teacher Tom and I've got 30 British English accents for you. 30 accents in one video. 3 things you need to know before watching. First of all, this is for educational purposes. I simply want to show you the sheer variety of accents that you'll find here in the UK. Secondly, the accents I've chosen are examples of each accent, but some people have strong or thick accents, some people have softer accents. In truth, we all have our own way of speaking. You might be in Birmingham right now saying, well, I don't speak like that. And yes, not everyone in Birmingham speaks like Jack Grealish, but these clips are simply representations of the sounds that you might hear in these places. And remember, there's no bad accent, there's no good accent. It's just simply how you speak. I personally love all of these accents. I think they all have character and charm. And finally, I'm not doing a pronunciation analysis in this video. If you would like to learn more about the pronunciation features in each accent, you can watch this video right here, or you can watch one of my accent analysis videos like this one I did about Emma Watson's modern received pronunciation accent. And if you want to go deeper with it, I've released a brand new online course called A Really British Guide to English, which teaches you the vocabulary, the accents, and the culture of the UK. You can check that out just below this video. And guys, remember to stick around till the end of the video where I have a very special British English quiz. All right, let's get to number 1.
Whenever I eat a boiled egg, I say, sorry, Mr. Egg, as I bash its head in with a spoon. We used to draw faces on eggs, you know, and it was just a nice thing to do, you know. I'm sorry, Mr. Egg. You kind of make a little cut on it because your mum would show you how to do that, and you'd apologise when you'd done the best. And there's nothing like a boiled egg. In fact, now, using your phone, you get the perfect timer for an egg now.
There'll be times when the world tries to make you think that's not true. There are so many things, systems, patterns and behaviours designed to make us feel less than because of our gender, our sexuality, our appearance or our background. We're Worth It is a reminder that it's not true. We all have value. So, when we come across bias, prejudice, bullying, online hate, anything like that, we have to remind the world that we're not going to take it. Because we're worth so much more.
First of all, you see this. The man them, when I say the man them, I mean people like me, we do not drink this. This is not for us. You see this now, on my everything I love, this is one of my favourite drinks in the whole world. This is so fire. This is fire. This is what I wanted to see to represent Trinidad. Shandy Carib, it's really nice, it's lovely, refreshing. Yeah, this is a great drink. I would highly recommend this. And this is already one, I can tell you. I can tell you this is already one.
Listen, she's actually sitting there. Apology to me would be, do you know what, Danny, I'm so sorry. She knew I was with James. She knew I was standing there. She was all over him. She weren't like playing Miss Innocent the other night, was she? She's an absolute troublemaker.
But the thing is, Dan, I don't think anyone really knows her yet. Even me.
I don't think anyone
really
even wants to know.
And I'll hold my hands up. I'll hold, if I'm wrong, then I'll hold my hands up.
Oh, listen, I'm really good judging character. That there is a 24-carat.
Spent ages basically being a builder, putting all this together, and then when it came to actually opening the doors and actually then putting some food out for people to try, which was the whole point of this, I remember the first one I sent out, I had this moment where I was like, what if they don't like it? And I suppose anyone who puts some food out to the public for the first time always has that sort of moment where they're like, oh my God, what if they don't like it? What if it's rubbish? This was all enough for nothing.
Do you know what I loved? Bahamas.
Bahamas?
Yeah, I went there in the summer. I've done like loads of mad stuff like swimming with pigs and that.
Swimming with pigs?
Yeah, where you go to like, it's like the Pig Island.
Okay.
Or something. So yeah, they're quite vicious actually. But like the whole holiday, I just loved it. I also like Dubai as well, but I think Bahamas is my favourite.
I liked it. I mean, my mum was, I think, a genuinely funny person, which is why I wanted to do This Is My Life. I made a CD called Have You Seen This Man, which is where This Is My Life came from. And I just wanted to let people know that, A, Dudley's a great place, because it inspired me, and all my mates are from there, you know. And my mum was loved, you know, and appreciated for her humour and everything like that.
There were a few times in the rehearsal room because, rightly or wrongly, you don't get to rehearse that much, do you? With
normally for film, no.
Do you know what I mean? And I love that about theatre, that you're in a room for ages before anyone looks at it.
Yeah.
So it felt quite like a theatrical rehearsal period, but there was a couple of times in there I was petrified. When Polly was asking us to like
run around the animals and
be fire.
Yeah, be fire, now be ice.
Be wind and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I had to let go of my inhibition.
To make the fight ugly, and it was an awkward, horrible night's work for me, but since the Andre Ward loss, I've had an unbelievable career and earned a fortune and gone out on a high. So that loss actually did me more good than harm. But I'm not an Andre Ward fan, because I'm not a fan of his style. He's got one of them styles where, do you ever re-watch an Andre Ward fight? Do you ever rush home and say, I want to see that again? You don't like the kind of fights I like then. I like the Arturo Getty's and the Mickey Ward type of fights. Floyd Mayweather's been offensive. I'm not going to get into an argument over Andre Ward and his boring, horrible style, because I've got TV broadcasters, HBO and Showtime stood behind me. They don't want to show his fights because he's boring.
I mean, this is probably my worst tattoo, even though it's pretty small. It's not great quality amongst all my tattoos, but this is pretty horrific. The lines aren't straight. It was meant to be an X. I mean, that looks all right there. Put my finger over it. Take it away. Horrible, horrible. I think almost by accident, especially here, it's almost a bit like sketchpad, notepad kind of vibe, you know what I mean?
Well, it means I think of the song and I think of like, what's the context? How should it sound? What should the instruments do? How fast should it be? What key should it be in? And, you know, I have my own studio. I built a studio in Leeds. And it's got loads of different instruments. It's a real playground for me. It's got a big grand piano, and I play drums, and I've got my guitars and basses. And I just use it as a place to kind of dream and imagine and mess around and see what I can come up with.
Do you remember that wet fish shop in Hull at Monument Bridge?
Oh, yeah, it used to stink, didn't it? They used to start swilling it about 5 o'clock. Oh, no, the water used to come out to school, all of your best shoes. You're going out on a Saturday night, your feet stunk of fish because it was swilling all the bloody fish out the shop.
Bloody hell, I bet that covered a load of sins for you.
Yeah, it did.
Oh. Yeah. Do you remember the last time when we went out with Jane as well?
Yeah.
And went to Liverpool again?
Yeah, and we went in that bedroom with the 7 beds.
Yeah.
Like the 7.
And in the morning, you couldn't find your knickers.
I couldn't find my frock, my knickers, my frock. I couldn't find anything.
When Halle Berry cried in her speech, I remember I was moved, I was glad that she won. I remember she was so moved, but now I really get it. And now I've been here and I've lived the experience of being a black actress here. I really get why she was so goddamn moved, because it really is tough, actually.
Would you rather listen to Kanye or Drake? It's a tough one. Old school Kanye I love, but I think Drake being way more consistent. Would you rather be really famous or be anonymous? Oh, wow. That is a tough question. Bit of both, to be honest. But if I had to choose one, I'd say be really famous.
What kind of problems does it bring being recognised all the time?
The most awkward thing is when someone knows you and asks you for a picture, and then someone else who doesn't know you will come over and be like, who are you? Or what do you do? And it's like, you've got to explain who you are and why people are asking for pictures.
It was a nightmare, because all you want to do is go out on the pitch and impress them and try and make the team better. Well, I couldn't, and I was rushing my injury. I think I did it twice when I was there, and finally I had to get an operation on it, and I was trying everything. There was a time when this doctor come over and he started like getting all this grass and putting it around my leg and stuff like that, and I'm looking at him, he looked like Captain Birdseye, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing?
You can enjoy getting dressed up and looking nice, and if you do, then, you know, and I do, then maybe I'm lucky. I did a couple of things. Yeah, I did sort of an EP, and I did a couple of guest vocals on like Mint Royale track, and weirdly that was like
it's your biggest
bigger hit.
hit.
Yeah, so that was really good fun, and I co-wrote that song, so that was lovely to write the words, and you know, like they sort of built a track, and then I sang and a melody.
Well, we went up to we did Jules Holland, and then went straight up to St James's, and my saxophone player Johnny got on the statue and started playing Local Hero, and 5,000 Geordies just started singing along.
Because of the club takeover?
Yeah, because Ashley's out, yeah, and everyone passed us, everyone I'd seen. I did about 1,000 selfies, got proper mobbed, and they gave us, but everyone was absolutely class, and they gave us a lot of cans, and I'm really hungover. I'm really, really hungover.
And my life is about my son. So I crawl around the playground in shorts and a vest and flip-flops. And it's heartbreaking leaving him for 20 days, but big gig Olympics came along. Of course. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go, I'm going to put my best foot forward, I'm going to make the most of the opportunity. to wear nice dresses and wear heels.
And you look beautiful.
It became a bit of a laugh in the office because they kept saying, why are you wearing those heels? And I said, because I live in flip-flops. I can walk around in heels. I'm going to enjoy myself and wear outfits that I felt good in, that made me feel good.
I was kind of used to gay girls at the front shouting stuff at me, just going, you know, come on, admit it. And this gig in Dublin, the girl at the front just goes, Katie, you're a lesbian. And I went, well, you know, I don't really want to say, no, I'm not. That sounds like I'm kind of being, you know, very defensive and offensive, perhaps. And no one else heard what she said. And so I was like, she just said that I was a lesbian. And I'm not. And then she, for the rest of the gig, tried to get my attention.
Everywhere you go as a tourist, people speak English. But when you've got a Scottish accent, that's very little help. I've run holidays and I've had people translate for me into English. And you walk into a pub and say, are you still serving food? You get that shit. I was in America. I'd done a gig in America, in New York, and after the gig, a guy said to me, hey, buddy, are you actually Scottish? And I said, yes. And he said, man, your English is really good.
Right then, we're going to speak about Orkney dialect the day.
Spoken in Orkney, sometimes called the Orkney Islands, well kennt for farming and fishing, archaeology and tourism.
An example of a word you would hear an Orkney dialect speaker saying is peedy. It's an adjective. It's the most frequently used Orkney word for little or small.
Don't give me too much soup, I only want a peedy grain.
Well, that's the most famous expression we have in all of Ireland, crack. When you say, what's a crack, like that's the first thing you say to someone from home, like, what's a crack? How's it going? What are you up to? It basically, it's sort of all-encompassing. If it's like, oh, we had great crack last night, that means that the crack was good.
I just thought it was just an opportunity of a lifetime, just a once in a lifetime, just a once off. And I went, and I never ever expected for 1 minute that I would get as far as I did, and I just kept getting through to the next round, and then the next round, and I was thinking, why are they still letting me through? But they were, and then it just got out of control, and no, it wasn't like that. It just got too hard to tell them. And there was one time when we were asked our age, and it was just when we had to write it in the first day at the open auditions, we had to write our date of birth, and then from then on it wasn't asked.
I'm lucky, I'm one of the few characters that doesn't wear a wig.
Although you did say this morning you wish you did have one.
I did, this morning I wanted to wear a wig because it means you get to spend more time in makeup, you know, chatting, and I'm always a happier man when I leave the makeup trailer than when I enter it. You know, it's a good way to start your day. I think possibly for the producers and the creators there's a pressure, which is, you know, understandable, you know, and palpable. But for us as actors, it's like any other job. You know, you go in and you do the work.
Happy St David's Day. It's March the 1st, the time of year when we celebrate this country we call Wales, being Welsh and our patron St David. But what do we know about him? Well, I can tell you a few things, like he didn't drink beer, he didn't eat meat, he didn't believe in flashy clothes or even using animals to plough the fields. But there are more legendary stories and miracles which make him so remarkable.
I didn't realise I was that fat, I've got to be honest. And when I seen it, I thought they'd done something to the photo. I mean, have a look at that, it's terrible, isn't it?
No.
But yeah.
That doesn't look bad at all.
I don't think
what are
that
you
looks
talking
bad.
about?
Oh, but it was. There's worse than that, Dal. There's a lot worse than that. And yeah, but when I see these pictures, it actually just inspires me to go to the gym. And I think it's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with it whatsoever.
Well, I mean, with the Devon dialect, there's traceable back to Anglo-Saxon, French, Dutch, German, you know, so I think they obviously get watered down over the period, like Drexel, which is a door threshold.
Yeah.
Dreck coming from the German soil, mud, and Drexel.
Right.
But then the S's get dropped in Devon, so it's Z, so it's Drexel.
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 Well, most S's become Z's.
Yeah. Yeah, and F's becomes V's.
Yeah.
So farmer becomes varmer.
Varmer.
Yeah.
The Varmers.
The Varmers.
I would have thought so. It's your heritage.
Yeah.
You know, it's also been handed down to us from our forefathers. You've got to be proud of it. If you're not proud of where you come from, what else can you be proud of?
No, it's not, and it is very serious. And your point's absolutely the right one. If people who were involved in setting the rules were actually quite flexible about the rules in their own lives. Were the rules really necessary? And what I want to see from the inquiry is looking at whether the rules were right.
The idea somehow that I'm going to go on exactly the same way if I have to succeed is complete nonsense, because the two situations are completely different. This is entirely because I worry about your grandchildren and everybody else's grandchildren as well as my own.
When you say what's a crack, like that's the first thing you say to someone from home, like what's a crack? How's it going? What are you up to? It's sort of all encompassing.
That was a Belfast accent.
Well, we went up to, we did Jules Holland and then went straight up to St James's in my saxophone player, Johnny.
That was a Geordie accent, which is from Newcastle.
First of all, you see this. The man them, when I say the man them, I mean people like me, we do not drink this. This is not for us. You see this now, on my everything I love, this is one of my favourite drinks in the whole world.
That was a multicultural London English accent.
Would you rather be really famous or be anonymous? Oh, wow. That is a tough question. Bit of both, to be honest. But if I had to choose one, I'd say be really famous.
That was a Scouse accent, which is from Liverpool.
I didn't realise I was that fat, I've got to be honest. And when I seen it, I thought they'd done something to the photo. I mean, have a look at that, it's terrible, isn't it? And yeah, but when I see these pictures, it actually just inspires me to go to the gym.
That was a Bristolian accent, which is from Bristol.
Listen, she's actually sitting there. Apology to me would be, do you know what, Danny, I'm so sorry. She knew I was with James. She knew I was standing there. She was all over him. She weren't like playing Miss Innocent the other night, was she?
That was an Essex accent.
But what do we know about him? Well, I can tell you a few things, like he didn't drink beer, he didn't eat meat, he didn't believe in flashy clothes or even using animals to plough the fields.
That was a South Wales accent.
Do you know what I loved? Bahamas.
Bahamas?
Yeah, I went there in the summer. I've done like loads of mad stuff like swimming with pigs and that.
Swimming with pigs?
Yeah, where you go to like, it's like the Pig Island.
Okay.
Or something.
That was a Brummie accent, which is from Birmingham. How many did you get correct? Let me know in the comments below, and tell me which accents do you really love and which ones did you find difficult to understand. And remember guys, if you want to understand the UK in depth, you can check out my online course, A Really British Guide to English, where we talk about the vocabulary, the accents, and the culture of the UK. The link is below this video.